Hey everybody, Captain Murphy here for PiratesAhoy.net. I've got one more object to cover, and this should be the last thing I gotta do for the weekend, and it's particle effects. I've done some looking into how bullets interact with the particle effect system, how they run into things, and have had to kind of figure out some of the muddy areas where they don't really have good documentation for it. But what I've got right now is kind of the beginnings of it. They're by no means the finalization, but it does show that we've got this working and that cannonballs are now their own object. So originally we were using a bullet class and it was inheriting just a projectile, so things weren't very realistic. So when it landed in water, it didn't make any noise. It hit wood, it kind of made this real dull thumping noise. And we've got to replace a lot of the sounds and a lot of the particle objects. But I'm just going to show you guys a quick run through of, I guess, what it looks like right now. And it's, like I say, it's far from being as, what our final product will be, but it shows that when a cannonball fires and it interacts with another object, it takes into account the object's, essentially the object's material type, and so then it reacts accordingly. So if I shoot this boat right here, you'll see that it actually sends these pieces of wood flying out, and they land all over the place. Those pieces of wood all have a physical object as well, so they only survive for about 5 to 6 seconds for the whole block of them. But in that 5 seconds, if they bounce off of another boat, they bounce off of ground, then each one of those objects makes their own noises, they have their interactions. So like you see, when the wood chunks land on the water, they splash. When the same chunk lands over on dirt, it sends dirt splashes up, things like that. If wood runs into wood, it actually makes a sound for that, and sometimes can actually hit hard enough to send more chunks of wood flying. So anyway, this is a kind of a very, very basic version of the particle effects. I just wanted to get something going because it's been driving me crazy not having any sounds for the cannons. But we now have the cannons working for water, so when you shoot them into the water, they make noise and they send ripples, they send a little plume out. They're not quite as, I guess, pathetic as they were before. Now the sounds are also dependent upon the distance. So here, we're going to hear these sounds right up next to us. If we shoot the boat that's further out, if I can actually get it to aim there, we don't hear those sounds. We see the particle effects, but there's no sound because at that distance we're not able to hear them splashing into the water. We can see them, but there's no sound coming to us. But at least with this way, we've got everything seems to be working pretty much like I was wanting to start. And what I'll do is I'll get this project going, and then I'll be able to hand it off to one of the modelers to really tweak everything out, and then they can have a sound person step in and really work on that. But at least I got the core working for them to kind of play with. So anyway, just give you guys a quick update. Thanks.